we talked a little bit earlier about conspiracy theories and gun control and all that, but let's talk about the medical industry and Big Pharma. I think most people understand the idea that the medical companies like, I don't even know the name, Pfizer could be one example. We probably shouldn't name any in case they want to send us a letter, but so that was hypothetical. But so Big Pharma, people understand that they're a for-profit industry and they make their money by getting people on medications, keeping them on medications. What is your understanding or thought process on that entire industry? And is it something that you see a tide is changing that we might have some hope against that industry, or I don't know, let's just talk about that.
Okay, so as far as conspiracies go, if you look at marketing as a conspiracy, yes, the people get together and they say, how are we going to market this product? And how are we going to market this product to as many people as possible? Because that's how we're going to grow our business. And so in that sense, if you look at it, because what they're doing is marketing. And so in order to market their product, they've taken to going to the government and saying, okay, in order to keep our monopoly or our small group of people, then we're gonna form an FDA, and in order to get any medications through, you have to go through this FDA. And you look at the revolving door of, who works at the FDA? Well, the people from drug companies work at the FDA, and then when you're done working at the FDA, where do you go? Well, you become a vice president at one of the drug companies, and it's this revolving door of that group is all inbred. And that's not true. That's true of other industries too, but sure. But particularly in my industry, I see it, and so I know the people. They use the FDA to keep other competition out. Well, what's happening is that the tide is turning where people are going, well, I don't want to be on drugs. I don't want to take a drug for the rest of my life, and I don't feel good on this, and this isn't curing my illness, this is just treating a symptom. I want something that's going to take care of it so I don't have to be on a drug for the rest of my life. And so as people start looking in that direction, it was only 4 years ago that the tide turned 50%. So now more than 50% of the dollars are spent on natural medicine, whereas prior to, I think it was 4 years ago, more than 50% of the dollars were spent on drugs. So, and everything is moving in that direction, going more natural. So people are seeking natural doctors more, naturopathic physicians, homeopathic, chiropractors, acupuncturists, things that are non-traditional, non-American traditional. There are other traditions, of course. So that is encouraging.
Yeah. I think with natural remedies, you can experience the results, not just in the symptoms, but your whole body feels better. You have more energy, you sleep better, plus you're getting rid of some of these symptoms, and it's just by making some lifestyle changes or choices that are different.
We expect results. Mm-hmm. When someone comes in and they say, here's your list of medications, and I go, why are you taking that? Well, I don't know. Oh, that's for my blood pressure. Is it working? Well, I still have high blood pressure. Okay, it's not working, Yeah. And I go down the list. Okay, and no one's ever thought that it should work. They just, doctor told me to take it. I know. Is your cholesterol medication working? Well, I don't know. I did a test and it looks better. We expect with natural remedies, we expect it will work. And so I always have a way to determine if it's going to work. So if somebody comes in and says, I'm fatigued all the time, I don't feel good, and I say, and I do some tests, and I say, oh, look, your thyroid hormone is off. So I give them something to improve their thyroid. I don't usually just start out here, take a hormone. I give them something to improve it. And they come back and say, did it work? I ask them, did it work? Are you feeling better? No, not feeling better. Okay, let's try something else. It's easy, and I expect the natural remedies are going to work.
So you talked about heart disease and cholesterol and high blood pressure. So there's a myth about cholesterol, that high cholesterol is bad and causes heart disease, or is a leading indicator and cause of death and all that. Talk about your thoughts on that.
Okay, I definitely have an opinion about this because as a medical director of a nursing home, I have at any given time 30 to 60 patients in the nursing home that I take care of, and almost all of them are on cholesterol medications. And I think the biggest hoax perpetrated on the American public is the myth that cholesterol causes heart disease. There's no causal relationship there, and that's been known since the Framingham Heart Study 30, 40 years ago when as they were looking at the original research, and they go, well, there's really no correlation. There was like a 30% correlation was initially, and that's less than half. That's not even good. And so they took out a subgroup and said, well, these people have high cholesterol and they get heart disease at a young age. Therefore, if we lower their cholesterol, then we will have less heart disease. And in fact, it didn't work that way. And so what people end up with is more problems. I look at everything in terms of risks and benefits. So you have risks of taking the medication. What are the risks? Well, in blocking your cholesterol, what else do you block because of the cholesterol? Well, you block energy production. You block testosterone. You block pregnenolone and your ability to make cortisol, these really important hormones in your body. You can't make them well, or if you get rid of cholesterol, you can't make them at all. You have to have them. So, and as you lower the cholesterol, a recent study from last year showed that people who were on these medications to lower their cholesterol also lower their testosterone levels. So the lower your cholesterol, then your testosterone goes down too. So your ability to prevent aging for having adequate levels of hormones, having adequate energy, and being able to reproduce your cells. Your cells reproduce with cholesterol. They need cholesterol. And so you lower the cholesterol, you slow down the reproduction of cells. What does that cause? Aging. So I have all these old people, in a nursing home, and they're aging really quickly on their risks of taking that medication, that cholesterol medication. And then you have benefits. And the benefits are way blown out by the marketing companies. They're marketing a drug, so they say these benefits are really good. And they're really not that good. The way they do their studies, there was one study called the Juniper Study that they cut off early. And what happens is there's sort of a J curve where you see a benefit to the drug, and then it levels off after a few years, and then the death rate starts climbing. You see now it's causing problems. And so they cut off the studies early so that you don't see that, now we're getting congestive heart failure. Why? Because they can't make coenzyme Q10 for their heart to work properly because they're taking the drug. It's unfortunate. But so I have an opinion on that because I see that every day. That's what I deal with.
So what do you look for that is a better indicator of heart disease or risk factors related to your heart? High blood pressure?
Hypertension is an interesting problem as well, because hypertension is another one of those. It's marketed as a disease, but it's really just a vital sign. It's really just, how is your blood pressure today? It changes from minute to minute. If your blood pressure is constantly elevated, then you might have a problem. But the blood pressure doesn't cause the problem. Whatever is causing the high blood pressure can also cause other problems, metabolic problems. So people who have diabetes, type 2 diabetes, or metabolic syndrome, it's the metabolic problem. They have high insulin levels. Their cortisol levels, their adrenal levels are elevated. They're resistant to insulin, and so it's a combination of problems. The high blood pressure doesn't cause the heart disease. It's the combination and the inflammation that's bringing on the heart disease, and the high blood pressure is just there as part of it.
And inflammation is typically caused by poor diet, right?
Oh, typically.
Yeah.
Typically. Yeah. Infections cause inflammation. Injuries cause inflammation. But of all the things that we're talking about, diet.
Food be thy medicine and medicine thy food, right?
Yeah. It works.